Hello and welcome to the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. My name is WSpargurKnits. I am your host, and today we are going to do the little bit of our sock along where we're going to create a mold, not a mold, more of like a blueprint of our foot so that we can try the sock on without actually having to put it on our foot. The other way that this is useful is if you are making a sock for someone that you do not see often, you can make a blueprint of their foot when you do see them, or you can make one that's very similar in size so that you know that it's going to fit their foot without actually having to have their foot with you. So a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need, of course, a piece of cardboard. This is about 10 inches by about 10 by 9. You might want a little bit bigger. I do have a big foot. This is 10 by 9. If you can get a little bit bigger, that's fine. This is a relatively thick piece of cardboard. This is from an old box of dog food for my dogs. Actually, I forgot. I was going to do this when I popped on. I said, this video is brought to you by Chipotle. Not that it's actually sponsored. I just really like Chipotle. But I guess you're getting that now. Anyway, so any piece of cardboard, I would go for, if you're working with somebody with a relatively big foot, maybe 12 by 12. But if you're a small foot, 9 by 10, 10 by 10, something like that should fit, as long as their foot will fit on this piece of cardboard in any sort of way. You're also going to need a marker or a pen or a pencil, something to mark your spot, and you're going to need your scissors. And then at the end, I'm going to show you how this is going to work. Well, you're also going to need some sort of measuring thing. This is what I use for my sewing, but you will need something to measure with once you have cut this out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your foot, barefoot preferably, but if you want to use a sock foot, that's fine as well. And you want to place it on the cardboard and then trace your foot. I'm not going to show that part mostly because I know a lot of people have things about feet. So I'm not going to show you me tracing my foot, but I am going to bring this up here as soon as I am done tracing my foot. Okay, so it can be a little crude. That's fine. It's not going to be perfect, but this is basically what you have to do. Just trace the outline of your foot onto this piece of cardboard. The next thing you need to do is, maybe if you've got any lines you need to connect, go ahead. So you can see here, the line's a little different. I'm going to kind of split the difference and maybe cut in between here. But then I am going to cut this out. For the toes, you don't have to actually worry about cutting out every single toe. If you wanted to kind of just connect these like that, that's really not going to matter. So if it's easier just to cut around that curve, go ahead and do that. You don't have to worry about having each individual toe cut out. So go ahead and cut out your foot, and then I'll join you back here. Okay, so my foot is cut out. Reminder, this does not need to be perfect. You just need to have a blueprint. It's a fake foot. So as long as it's in the relative shape, you should be perfectly fine. Now what you need to do is from here, take your ruler and try to measure out like the widest part of the foot. Find the widest part. So for me here, that looks like that's going to be about 10 3/4 inches for my foot. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your marker or pen, and from the heel along that line, mark 2 inches. Now if you've got a thinner ruler, you should be able to, let me get a piece of rather cardboard here, because we want kind of a straight line. So I'm going to kind of mark over here where the other 2-inch mark there is. And then by lining those two up, I should get a really good 2-inch mark here as well. So we're just going to draw a line. So what I do with here, so another thing I do is I label toe, of course, and then heel. And then something I'll do sometimes is just like, hey, this is 10 3/4 inches, because you can keep these templates too. So this space here I also mark as being 2 inches. And what I do here on this line is I write the word stop. So if you remember, we knit the toe and then we knit the foot. So as you're knitting along, if you're trying to decide how well this fits, if you're using a technique where you can't try it on, or again you don't have the right foot, here's the sock, and you just insert the sock onto the template. Make sure it's all the way on. Now, because it's not blocked and sometimes everything's still a little tight, okay. Now, here you kind of have to make a decision. This isn't really stretched. It is on the foot, but it's not completely stretched. If you are somebody who likes looser socks, continue knitting until you hit this point. If you're someone like me who likes a more snug sock, kind of pull up and see if it'll go that far. And if it does, this didn't take much pulling at all, that is really all I need. And if I actually were to compare how much I've knit with socks that I've knit previously that I actually like how they fit, then this is almost perfect. So that's why we measured that here, so that if you want a looser sock, keep knitting till it stops. If you like a tighter sock, pull, see if it'll stretch and fit. But I would say you definitely don't want more than, how far is that? I would say don't go more, you shouldn't have to stretch more than an inch. If you have to stretch it more than an inch to reach that point, it's going to be too tight. But this is about ½ inch, and I'm okay with that. I like a little bit of a snug fit. So this is going to work perfectly for me. And now the reason we're stopping here is because when we start turning the heel, you're still going to add some length to this. I don't have the sock on me to show, but when we start, so if this is the bottom, when we start turning the heel here, as we knit, we're going to be doing short rows, so the center of this is still going to get longer, while it creates this kind of triangle shape here in the middle, and then we'll turn and start going up this direction. So your heel will go here, and the short row line will be right here. So that's what we're going to do next. So the next video is going to be how to turn our heels. We're going to be using German short rows if you are unfamiliar with that technique. I have finished the foot of this sock. I have one more sock. I am on the foot of that one. And fun story for those of you who have been following me for a while, I was trying to knit on 2 circulars, and I had one that the join was catching the yarn, and I was just struggling so much, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to try and do this magic loop thing again. And guess what? It clicked. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I am magic looping, and I don't know how that happened, but it's happening, and I'm really excited about it, so I'm actually knitting the second sock with magic loop, which is interesting. So continue to follow, and the next time we have a video for this, it will be turning the heel, and I'm really excited to show you guys how to do that. So the next thing I'll have to do is finish the foot of the second sock and then turn the heel on this first sock, and then we will be good to go. So I can't wait to show that to you. I hope you'll join me, and I will see you all I will see you again very soon here on the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.